next year. You were like, and you were like, Lancaster, because he's a freshman. I mean, I thought you way. I think it'll never get old. I'll be telling this forever. So just be ready and just let me tell the
He's
story.
finally a senior now. 4
He's
years.
finally a senior. So let's jump right in, Wade. I want to chat with you about, since we last saw you, a lot has happened. We've all been, of course, on lockdown. That hasn't changed. Now, tell me about what your senior year has opened up and looked like. What's going on?
As of right now, we're all virtual. We start school September 8th. We just trying to prep for it. I've been talking to a lot of my teammates, a lot of my classmates, and we're just really hoping that, we're able to finish our senior year because this is what we've been waiting on, since we started high school. We want to graduate, we want to have prom, homecoming, all those type of things.
Now,
Just
wait,
hoping for the best.
I'm sorry. Let me ask you this. So, well, first of all, let me just touch on the fact that, you all, of course, because of this pandemic, were robbed of performing at the state championship in San Antonio earlier this year. We were all sent home at the same time, like, shut it down. The doors are closed. Y'all ain't got to go home, but you got to get out of here. So, I know that you all have had to cope over the last several months with that. I believe you all have healed from that, I hope. How do you feel about that? Do you ever look back?
Yeah, I do. Almost every other day. Like, man, I just wish we could have played when I see videos and pictures. But I mean, we was blessed to be crowned, champions. So hey, we'll take it.
I'm gonna go on record as saying they were gonna be hands down
Yes,
state champions this year had it not been for the coronavirus.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Nobody was gonna touch Lancaster this year. So all my Houston folks, all my San Antonio folks, Austin, I love y'all.
Bless y'all.
Nobody had anything for Lancaster last year, and you guys knew it. So everybody was playing for second place. But that's how I feel about that.
Now he always fussing at me for being biased. That was pretty biased right there, but it's okay. It's all right. So let me ask you this. Do you think, and I always like to get a young person's perspective. I know y'all are looking forward to, again, all of the things that are coming this year. The biggest thing in senior year is prom and graduation. And you saw how graduation went this last year for everybody in 2019. Where were we? 2020 class. So what are your thoughts about how to get back to a healthy, at least second semester? Are you in agreement that keeping y'all out of school for right now is the best thing, or are you anxious to just get in there and take your chances?
As of right now, I feel like keeping us out of school is the best option because all kids are not mature enough to follow the rules. Kids they'll take their mask off, think it's a game and it's serious. So I feel like keeping us out of school right now, keeping us online until the second semester would give us a better chance of having a real second semester.
And that's why. That's why. The boy, he's been a senior for a long time. He's just a leader. That's leadership, really. So, all right.
Coach, how you feel about that? We ready to go back to school? What are your thoughts?
I'm kind of I kind of feel way with that from a parent perspective. I think it's good to be cautious, to wait and especially see just kind of how everything goes as far as getting people together. But to me, yeah, that's the number one thing. We're getting athletes together. Athletes have a certain type of responsibility because they want to play. They want to have a season. They want to, get around their guys, regardless whatever sport it is. So I think having athletes work out and do things is okay. But yeah, your common population in a student body, yeah, it's gonna be 5% of them jokers gonna be running the halls, throwing masks, gonna be doing stuff that don't make no sense at all. But those are the ones that can mess it up for everybody. So I actually like the approach that we've been doing here in Texas. Obviously, haven't heard anything crazy spikes with anything going on just yet. So it's positive. I mean, we've been able to play AAU tournaments. Baseball's been going. Football's been working out. So, Lord willing, we can keep on this path and hopefully they can find some vaccine or just, something, just give it time to have a better control of it before we get back.
Right, right. So with that being said, you got all of these fall sports in question right now, especially at the collegiate level. Football is pretty much off, with the exception of a handful of your Big 12s,
Yeah.
your couple of power guys. But for the most part, as football is off. Now the question is basketball. Now we got a real concern with our basketball season. So, and that's at every level from high school and college. So my question to you guys, how are you okay with the thought of the possibility of not having a high school or college basketball season until January of 2021? Wait.
That's a tough one. Honestly, I don't even want to think it like that, but I know you have to. I mean, if it's a guarantee that we will get to play in January, then I bite that bullet. But hopefully, like Coach Howell said, I feel like hopefully we can find some, have enough time to get the vaccine or get everything controlled. We are able to play.
Because I'm telling guys, like, a lot of these coaches are saying, well, if the NBA can do it, then we ought to be able to do it. But you got to realize that bubble costs $1.6 million to put together for the NBA. High school and colleges are not going to spend that kind of money. So, Jared, what do you think about that?
I've had this conversation tons of times over the last few months. I think the positive thing is seeing that the TBT and the NBA were able to have successful bubble situations is kind of the shining star right now. So I think college, the issue with college is you're playing across state lines in conferences, whatever the road games are, wherever you travel, you're crossing a lot of areas to play those games. So I've heard talks about having a regionalized non-conference schedule where everything's only in driving range, and then having, your conference at the end. But to me, long story short, is like Wade said, for me, if I was a player, I would, with everything that's happened being shut down since March, as long as I know I'll have a season, I'll be okay with it. And I think, Wade, like you said, if I'm able at the end of my senior year to go play for a state title, regardless if it's the normal time in March, the first week of March, or the last week of April, I want to make sure that I play for something. With high school, I think it's a little bit easier because it's just our counties, it's just our city. So you don't have to play in tournaments out of the city. You don't have to play certain opponents in certain areas. You really can have more of a control of who you play and kind of just how everything's dispersed amongst Dallas County, Tarrant County, Denton County, wherever. So I think high school actually has an easier way of having a season because we can keep everything as local as possible.
Yeah.
It sucks to have those, you got some of the high school teams, Lancaster being one of them, Faith Family, Duncanville, some of the guys who play those national tournament schedules and national showcase schedules. It's kind of difficult because they won't be able to do those caliber games, with the Hoop Fest, Cowtown, things of that nature. But they still should be able to get some local games in, considering the quality of the competition we got around here. So been definitely a topic of discussion. Definitely a topic of discussion. So let's transition real quick. So big announcement was made this week by guy who's the top point guard in the state of Texas, was recruited by the likes of Florida State, North Carolina, Stephen F. Austin, University of Texas, Oklahoma State, so forth and so on. Guy had about 20-something offers, Coach Howell. And
I don't know.
So he's made a decision this week to narrow his choice down to 5 schools. So we want to hear from Wade on who those 5 schools are and what went into that decision. Some of the things that
5 schools: Texas A&M, Oklahoma State, Iowa State, Virginia Tech, and SMU. I mean, it was the decision was tough. All the coaching staffs are one of a kind. Just trying to build a relationship with all of them. And it was tough telling some of the schools, you know, that I was going to move on, you know, look for different scenarios, you know, but at the end of the day, I just look at it as a blessing, you know, being recruited by such high major schools as, you know, as we know. And I'm just, you know, just trying to take it all in and see what the future holds for me.
A lot of unique things about Wade. Wade is one of the few kids who, and I've been covering high school players since '98. Maybe I graduated in '97, so since '98, and since then he's one of the few players that we've seen that has never played his age group. You know, he's always played 17U or varsity level basketball. He's a 4-year varsity starter, all conference, all state, all region player. You know, but that speaks volumes to not just him as a player, but his maturity level. You know, he's always been, as Christy always tells the story about when I first saw him as a freshman, you know, I thought he was a senior just by the way he carried himself on the court. And so to watch him grow and watch him develop, and I can remember hearing the very first, I remember the first time he got his first offer, and those coaches were just raving over, like, who is they pretty much had the same reaction that Christy had. God, where's that kid going next year? What grade is he? Coach, he's just a freshman. Coach, he's going to Lancaster next year. Coach, he's going to be right back in Lancaster, Texas as a sophomore. So, you know, not a lot of kids, not a lot of players have that, I guess, a badge of honor, if you will, to be able to say that, you know. And not only that, he's a fantastic player, but an even better young man. You know, Jay, it's hard to find a player, and he's gotten to the point to where I'm scrutinizing every little thing now, trying to find out something. Yeah. It can't be all sweet. It's got to be something. He got to have a bad attitude. He got to be failing a class. He got to talk crazy to his mama. I got to find something now.
Yeah.
And in 4 years, man, I hadn't been able to find. I hadn't even seen this kid have a bad word to a referee on the court during the game. Like,
and I called this game probably about 3 weeks ago, really? And it was a tough situation, and he was professional the whole time. He was good.
Like, I mean, that's a characteristic that is rare, but it takes players a long way. And Jay, we played at the highest level. We've seen them all and done them all. Imagine that trait, you know, as a high school player. It's only going to, you know, get better. It's only going to improve. So I definitely had to make that point to Wade. I don't always get a chance to give him his flowers publicly, so to speak. Right. So definitely want to commend you on that, young fella.
And I have to echo, as I always, you know how I feel. I feel like I see so much when I had the vantage point, you know, of being on the court under the basket a lot of the times, and just there's so much activity, and from some more than others, but you are one of the very, very few that it's just unbelievable. Like I mean, even if a word fly, like you just have such an air and an aura that is so good. And I want you to make sure you continue to grow that. You know, again, we can give you all the accolades. We can shower you with all the compliments, and a lot of people will, and a lot of people do. But just the ball stops bouncing at some point, but you still have to be a man. And you have to be a good human. And so I know that you have it in you, Wade Taylor IV. Yeah. And you will carry that torch that goes beyond the court. And so, again, I just echo everything Coach Jabari just said. And it's been a pleasure. And I can't wait to see just even more to come.
Absolutely. And Wade, talk a little bit about your family support. You one of those that have a really good support system. And I always say, you know, anytime a player, a prospect is doing well and getting recruited and getting ready to go to college, there's a parent or a support system behind all of that that's making that happen for you. So talk a little bit about your family support system.
My support system is unbelievable. You know, I don't have a word that can explain it. I mean, everyone knows that when we play, the Taylors is going to be there, regardless of my granny, my mom, my dad. Because honestly, since I've been started playing, I don't think my granny has missed a game. I mean, she's always there, front row, cheering like it's my last game. And I look at that and I just, it makes me go harder because I know that whatever goes down, they're going to have my back regardless.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Your grandmother is I'm telling you, the highlight. Please give her a hug from me.
Now, we narrowed it down to 5 schools, Wade. You got SMU, Oklahoma State, Texas A&M, Virginia Tech, Iowa State. And eventually, you're going to have to make another decision. You're going to have to narrow that 5 down to 1 school. I always say you can only play one. You can only choose 1 school. So what are some of the factors that will go into that decision on that final school? What is it that you're looking for and some of the things that are important to you?
Of course, going somewhere that I can feel that is at home, not being at home. I want to go somewhere that I know I'm wanted. Of course, I want to be able to come in, have a big impact as a freshman, help the team do whatever needs to be done, of course, great academics and just a family school, somewhere I can go and enjoy my college life.
Absolutely. And do you have a conference preference, or you have a exposure preference, or is it just fit for you, whatever the better fit is for you?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say a conference preference, but I mean, if it's a great fit, I feel like it's the best situation. Whatever situation I think is the best, and I feel like that's the one I go with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Iowa is a long way away. I'm gonna tell you right now, it ain't nothing there for you. I'm sorry, love y'all at Iowa, but that's too far. I can't. Come on, stay home.
Big 12 is on TV every night. Big 12 is on TV every night.
I know. I just get a kick out of whenever we have an opportunity to go. Hopefully, we can, get back to that point once we.
They got a good track record with guards.
Every night, but if you can play, they'll find you. So.
Hey, I would say got a good track record with guards. So
absolutely, that they do. I just watched DeMar's kid play last night for Denver.
Man.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Halliburton about to come out.
I'm just selfish. That's all. Sorry.
Well, one thing I know about Wade Taylor's support system and the Taylor family, whether he goes down the street or overseas, they coming to watch their baby play.
They're gonna be there.
Absolutely.
So, we talk a lot about relationships in the recruiting process and the importance of them. Talk about some of those relationships you were able to build with some of the coaches throughout your recruiting process and why it was important to you.
I'm gonna start with because he's hot right now. Coach KT Turner from SMU. He just got promoted. He's left SMU and went to Texas. That's big for Coach KT because he works so hard. Me and him built a great relationship since I was a freshman. We built a relationship to where we stopped talking about basketball. It was more about life situations. What's going on in the world, what I ate today. Just how my family's doing, just different things like that. Because to him it was bigger than basketball. That's the same way with Coach Johnson at Texas A&M. We the same way. It's bigger than basketball. And it just now it's more about how I can better myself as a man in life, pretty much.
So let me ask you this, Wade. What are you moving on to? What's your major? What are you gonna do? What are you major
in radio broadcasting? I want to be I want to be around the game when I'm not able to dribble the ball. I want to still be able to talk about the game. Give my knowledge to the people.
That's great. Good. That hadn't changed. I remember that. You can change anytime you get ready. I'm always fascinated to see if it changed from 6 months ago, to now. Yeah. So good deal.
You say you're studying radio broadcasting, so
communications, yes sir.
Communications, okay, good.
Right up my alley.
Coach Howell, as a former player, college, you've gone through and played pro. You got anything you want to bounce off Wade Taylor?
Man, a couple things as far as giving roses. Man, your greatest weapons that you'll ever have is your maturity and your humility. Those are two things that you have. Like before hard work, you got to know what you're working hard at. So just like they said, how you carry yourself and understanding what's important and what's not is going to carry you a long way. When it goes to picking a school, you have to think, will this school help me 40 years?
Mm-hmm.
Like it, because basketball is a business and it could be a meat market. So at the end of the day, can I survive? Would I want to go to this school if basketball wasn't involved? Like, what would this school provide me? Like, and a lot of it, I say network your tail off. So when you say you want to be in radio broadcasting, wherever you play at, if it's a TV game, regardless what game it is, somebody's doing the radio, somebody's doing the TV. Go introduce yourself to every one of those people that are doing it every single game. Tell them who you are, tell them you're interested in doing that, get their contact information, and hit those people. There's nothing better in this world that you can have than a strong network. And especially being a young man of color, they have to know your character is strong. They got to know your integrity and feel that and a lot of times before you get a chance to show what you really can do. So I say network your tail off and then create your own lane. I tell people all the time, we talk about sports all day long for free. Start your own YouTube channel. Start something like how Christy and Jabbar has done with this right here. You know, create a lane where you can get your voice out, have your platform, and do what you want to do with using the game to help you do something for the rest of your life.
You'll always have an internship as a correspondent here at Heads Up.
Skill set.
You do know that.
Take it. Better take it.
Yeah, I'm taking that.
Yeah. You got a built-in position ready for you.
Need those reps, man, and it's hard. That's a great point, Jared. You know, you'll be surprised, man. So many guys never think past when the ball stops bouncing, but everybody, we all, whether you play 4 years or 20 years, you know, ultimately you're going to have to transition into something else. And so you don't want to wait until the ball stops for you to start thinking about that. You want to think three steps ahead. I always say you want to think 3 plays ahead, kind of like playing point guard. You want to think 3 plays ahead with your career. You know, we're not going to wait. I use Ty Ellis as a great example, Jared. Ty is the head coach at the Stockton Kings G League team right now, but we watched Ty work his way up from the basement, literally. As a former player, overseas guy, knew he would transition into coaching at some point, but he didn't wait till he retired. He started networking while he was still an active player, talking to people, handing out resumes. Hey, this is what I want to do in my next chapter. And that made his transition a lot easier. I did the same thing. So, you know, that's a great point. You know, Wade, when he gets to college, wherever he goes, he's going to be covered by, you know, some major media outlets. Most people don't know this SportsInfluencer Roundtable platform. It was an idea that I had, but it was inspired by Clark Kellogg. Y'all know who Clark Kellogg is, the college basketball analyst and all that. I had a chance to sit in a roundtable with him just like this, and an hour and a half later, he had me thinking, man, you need to get out this roundtable and do your own. This is good, this is great, blah, 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 and the rest is history. So you never know where that inspiration is going to come from. And Wade is going to be around the Clark Kellogg's of the world
a lot
for the next 4 years. So meet them, you know, introduce yourself. They're going to know you, but they need to know you way more than just a player. They need to know that you can communicate. They need to know that you can, you know, speak, articulate your thoughts. They need to know how you feel about Black Lives Matter, because that's a hot topic right now.
Man, can I add a point into that?
Absolutely.
Man, and whatever school you go to, the administration, so the sports administration that you're with, the ADs, the education, academic people inside, man, don't just be a player. Like literally, like you said, go in there and sit with the AD for 10 minutes. Like request a meeting a couple times a year just to bounce ideas off of him, just find out pieces about his job and this and that. Because those people deal in high levels across the country. So just the fact of you want to absorb some information from somebody in those positions, that says a lot, because a lot of players just think, I mean, I was a professional player, J-Bone same way. When you've been a pro, you kind of get into a mode where you get used to getting taken care of. Like people cater to you. But you have to, especially in our world now, with people that don't look like us, we feel the same things a lot of times. We have the same fear towards each other in different ways, but somebody has to take the step of, hey, I just want to sit down and have a conversation. Let me learn about you. And then in turn, those people want to learn more about you. And then you can have those conversations. And now when you walk around, you're not just Wade Taylor, the basketball player. You're like, now, that kid can work for me. That kid can do this and that. I think he's amazing. He need to be a part of this group and that group. And so, like, examples like King McClure, who at Baylor and still could play, but now the Joker's on ESPN every night. You know what I mean? So definitely a good example of what you want to aspire to, and somebody that's just like you.
And Jay, I'll say this too. Wade will probably be, and just looking at his list of schools and knowing those head coaches very, very well, each one of them, they're not only, the consensus about him is, yes, we know he's a great player, but he's an exceptional leader.
Yep.
And they know that.
Yeah.
And so they're recruiting him on that. And I'm saying all that to say, it's highly likely that whenever his playing career is over, Wade could very well be the next high major Division I coach in the next XYZ years. So, and my point in saying that is, Wade, you don't want to wait until then to start that process. You want to start picking those coaches, all these coaches that you got on your list, whichever one you choose, whoever's lucky enough to get you, then that coach is going to instantly become a mentor of yours. And now that's somebody that can show you the ropes in the college coaching business. And they're going to be glad to do it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They're going to be glad to do it because it's not a lot of guys, of all the players that these coaches coach that come through their program, not a lot of guys have what it takes to actually be a coach. So it's rare when you get one of those guys. So once you do get an exceptional leader in your program, a guy who's going to be a player coach for years in your program, you start grooming him now for life after your program. And these are conversations that every high major, mid-major, every Division I coach in the country is having right now behind the scenes is how can we start grooming our players for life after they leave our campuses? So the players that go into it now and take advantage of that, they're going to be better off than even you and I was as players, Jared.
Yes.
They're going to be better off.
Yes.
Got all that, Wade?
I got it all.
Okay. All right. Hey, why don't you tell us who your top 5 NBA players are that are actively playing right now?
Uh-oh.
Okay. I'm the biggest LeBron fan, so you know he's first. I'm gonna say LeBron, Damian Lillard, James Harden, Luka, and Giannis. Yeah, that's my 5 right now. It's active in the bubble. That's my 5.
LeBron.
In order? In order.
Luka and who?
In order. Okay, we do it in order. Then LeBron, Dame, Luka, Giannis, and I'm gonna say James Harden. I'm gonna say James Harden.
So Kawhi Leonard? No Kawhi Leonard.
Nah.
No Kawhi Leonard. Jerry, who's your 5, Jerry?
I'll write it down right now. I would say, man, I would say LeBron 1 right now, Kawhi, Giannis, Luka, and Dame. In that order. And it's tough. It's splitting hairs. It's tough.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna agree with that 5, but I'm gonna say this. It's 2 young guards, man, that might be the future next to
Okay.
Luka.
And I think I know who you're talking about.
Jamal Murray
Yeah,
and Donovan Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, man, the way they're playing in the bubble, I mean, it was hard for me not to put them in my top 5. They didn't make it, but they're 6 and 7.
Man, I'm weird when it comes to players. Like I think Jamal Murray is a scoring machine, but I value the defensive end of the ball a little bit more. So I would definitely would challenge for Donovan Mitchell to be in that top 5, especially over the last couple of games. But just my list as far as like consistency overall. But these jokers, them two have gone nuts over the last 2 games. And it's been a pleasure to watch.
Jabari, who are yours? What's your list?
I'm going with LeBron, Dame, Luka, Kawhi Leonard, and Giannis.
Okay. So
those are my top 5.
At least 4 out
So
of 5.
who's everybody's team? That's what I want to know.
I'm Lakers.
Pre-LeBron or post LeBron?
Nah, post LeBron.
See, that's what I'm saying. See, he a LeBron fan. That's a
Wherever
Laker.
LeBron go, that's what I'm
Not a
going.
Laker fan. He a LeBron fan.
He a LeBron fan. I'm a Laker fan. Period. See, good and bad. See,
yeah, I'm a Maverick guy. I'm gonna go with and again, I'm gonna say this. We're talking about special players. In only his second year, with what Luka Doncic is doing in this league is truly remarkable, truly special, and it's a testament to. Most people don't know Luka's story is so unique that once you know his story, you're really proud of what you see him doing right now today. You're talking about a kid who left home at 14 years old. Left his mom and dad's home at 14 years old and went to Spain to be a professional. Nobody went with him. He literally, as a 14-year-old, he was on his own playing against grown men for years as a junior, as they call it, junior, young fella.
Yeah.
Went through that process, tore up the ACB, he had some growing pains at first. It wasn't all sweet way. He didn't just wake up
at age 16.
You know, he went through a whole lot of adversity to get to this point, but he just took advantage of his opportunity, man. And right now, with what he's doing in the NBA is truly remarkable. And he's not even old enough to go to the bar and order a drink. He's not even 21 years old, Jay, right?
Man, I'll tell you, it don't shock me. It really didn't shock me. Just from the standpoint, most international guys get drafted. You see they average a few points. They're on a good team and they're good prospects, and they come in, they develop. Man, but when you talk about playing in Europe for 7 years, when you saying this dude was a teenager and he was the MVP of EuroLeague. So EuroLeague, pretty much those are guys that are NBA level talents. Mm-hmm. Like those guys easily can play in the NBA. Like, it's not a question. It's just it ain't enough spots in the NBA, and those guys play EuroLeague. Some of them make more money over there than they do guys in the NBA. But for a dude to be a teenager and be the MVP of the best league outside of America, then to come to the States, I just already expected him to have an advanced curve. But it's kind of similar to what Wade is a little bit. Whereas he was young and he played with high-level guys so much, so where he is now, I don't even know if he even feels like bothered playing 17-year right now because this is his 4th year. Like, do you feel challenged on the court at all? Like, this is your 4th year?
Yes, at times.
When I called this game, it looked like he wasn't challenged. It looked like he was chilling for a little bit until he was like, okay, now let me turn it up a little bit. So, and when he get to college, he'll have a bigger I feel he'll have a less learning curve, just from the standpoint of his maturity level, his humility, and the guys he's been around, and just how much he wants to learn the game, that he'll be able to have a much better learning curve once he get to college.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, nobody asked me for my top 5.
Who's your top 5, Christy Renee? Who's your top 5?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Diana Taurasi.
What's his name? Who?
Diana Taurasi.
Oh my Lord. Yeah, I wouldn't know where to start. I think I'm such a fan of people, again, on and off. I mean, LeBron James I think he's phenomenal. It's more so, I mean, he's an incredible player, but more so because of what he does, for his communities and building things. I love that. But anyway, so let me ask you a question. Jarrett from Facebook, Ricky Manning asked, who are your top 5 UTA players?
Hey, I do this straight off production. I'm not even going. I was just typing Rick. I was gonna say me, and then 2 other people. But I'm gonna be realistic. I would say the greatest player to come through UTA, number 1, would probably be Marquez. That's why I would pick you number 1.
Marquez,
Like just
he's a favorite.
like just the impact he made. And just as a professional, just the level of consistency and dominance that dude has had, I mean, it's hard to do that. So I'll put him, then I'll put Kevin Hervey, Eric Neal will be up there. And then my old guys, my boy Stephen Thomas got to be in there as an All-American that I played with, varsity assistant coach at SGP, South Grand Prairie High School.
Shout out to the good
Thorough. Coach Bennett, and then it would have to be my boy Derek Abasahan. I got to give the DO, and I know I probably missed some people, but that's my top 5. I know Donnie Beecham is gonna kill me that I didn't put him in his top 5. So if this was post career, then I would put Donnie in there, but that would be my top 5.
Somebody said, plead the 5th. Plead the 5th.
Right. I can't wait to get this ball card.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You need to do what every time I get, I've been asking Farron Douglas, every time I get a chance, I'm dying to know, Coach, man, give me your top Lancaster player list, your top Lancaster, all the guys you've coached. Give me your top 5. And he does a great job with deflect. I ain't saying I'm going to let my assistant coaches do that. He never gives me, he said, I ain't going there. So I feel you, Coach.
That's tough. Hey, but you before UTA got so many good players. Shoot, I mean, first when I fell in love with UTA was watching Jabari and Steve Barber go for like 65 combined against Tierra Brown and D Mallet in McNeese State.
Come on, fade away. Okay, we got a question online for Wade. Where did it go for Wade? Well, 2. It's 2-part. Who was your toughest competition at the guard position? Name
high school?
Yeah.
They want me to answer that? Oh, no.
And then, yes, who's your toughest guard competition? And then I got another one for you. If you had to pick
I'm gonna start by in-house. I mean, guard Mike in practice every day was crazy. We made each other better. So I say Mike, and then when we played Prolific Prep, those guys, they're phenomenal. They're NBA stars. They're gonna eventually be NBA stars. So I'll say Jalen Green and Amari Burnett was probably the toughest guards we ever had.
Wade has played against pretty much all of them. Jalen Green, Amari Burnett, Tyrese Maxey, Jamash Ramsey's of the world, RJ Hampton. I mean, he's playing against him for a while.
I think speaks volumes. Lord knows I couldn't commentate to save my life, but I do know, again, I know what my eyes see. And I think that speaks volumes about how you have come to be such, I mean, you are, a hot commodity, and you faced some of the fiercest competition out there, starting at a young age. So again, we could go all day.
I can't forget the boys from Dickinson. We played Dickinson, and those guards, that trio they have is tremendous too.
Jamal Mark and company, absolutely.
So right here, this is where we take a shift. a little bit, and I'm always the one to make this kind of shift, this drastic shift. So while we engage, jovially in our basketball chat, of course, the world is still happening, lots going on. As we opened up the show with our hot topics, the one thing that's happening this week, which is again set off another round of continued protesting across the nation. Jacob Blake is the young man that was shot in the back 7 times by police officers at close range. He is now paralyzed permanently. He is still alive, fighting for his life, but they have determined that he is paralyzed. And so I just want to get some perspective. Wade, I can't remember the last time when we talked. I think it was just the global pandemic that we really dealt with and hadn't really gotten a chance to talk about things post George Floyd. That was in late May, and here we are in late August now, and it hasn't stopped. We've reached 100 days of protesting, and it continues. It will continue because Wisconsin is on fire right now. Tell me, where is your mind in all of this? How is this affecting you day to day? Does it affect the decisions you make? Are you considering what's happening in the world? You're a young Black man. Are you considering, where you go to school based on what's happening in the world? Does that come into play? But just talk a little bit about that story and how you're affected.
It's hard to talk about, because when you think about it, I'm scared. I don't know, like, when I get pulled over, what's going to happen, how the officer would treat me, and when you take college, I'm going to try to pick, the college that I feel is, the safest, where I can go and I won't be feared for my life. That's why I pray from, me and my, my brothers, my teammates, that's why when we out together, we try to, keep our heads on straight and just, go about our business and keep a smile, to show that we're not, we don't want any trouble. We're just, trying to enjoy our lives.
Okay.
That's definitely a reality. When you see Jacob Blakes of the world and the George Floyds of the world, that could easily be one of our kids. Kids, it could happen to any of us. I mean, we've all can probably tell a story. If you live long enough, if you're old enough, as a Black man, you've had encounters with the police that haven't been the best. If we all can tell those stories. So the fact that this guy was, that was so hard to watch, for the simple fact that it was so excessive in my book, to shoot this guy 7 times. And I'm told he was at his kid's birthday party breaking up a fight, and his kids were in the car and watched their dad get shot 7 times. I mean, that's tough. That's tough to deal with. And every Black man in America, is that much more frightened behind that situation. Yeah, I mean.
And women. It's really Black people in general, because they still have not arrested the 3 officers that murdered Breonna Taylor. So we still, it's a fight really for all of us. Jarrett, you want to share your thoughts on that latest story and what's, again, Wisconsin is burning. What do you think?
I actually shared it a couple of days ago. The question that keeps running through my head is I have a 4-year-old son, and he's the happiest kid on earth. And at what point does he stop being a cute kid, and does he look like, a potential threat? And the probably the biggest thing that scares me, it feels that he could be anywhere hanging out with somebody, and how do I teach him how to deal with the police if he sees police? If they say, all right, if he's scared and you're gonna quickly walk away or get away, then you can look suspicious. Or if you go up to the officer and want to talk to him, then are you perceived as trying to get over, or you're Like or you're going to be looked at as a threat. Like, and it doesn't matter how many people you know. The hard part I feel being a is we don't get the benefit of the doubt. And no matter what you do, you don't get the benefit of the doubt that you're doing good, that you're doing something that isn't an issue. Like you look at the Raptors president, they won the championship, and he's just trying to get to the floor. And he's in a suit level position, he's getting ready to celebrate, and an officer pushes him twice. He's showing his badge, trying to talk to him, and he basically like, forget you, and pushes him again, and then lies and says that he was an aggressor. And I fear for that too, because at any point, an officer can say to my son, any of us, and say, hey, come here, what's your name? What are you doing? This, that, start questioning us. And they have the full right to say, if we don't want to respond to that they can arrest us. They can say, put your hands behind your back, going downtown. So even with us knowing our rights, I don't have the best feeling if I'm putting handcuffs and putting the back of a squad car, what can happen. And I know a ton of phenomenal officers, really great friends officers. And when I'm not talking about the 90% plus that are good, but that fear is real. And seeing that and seeing a 17-year-old kid walk around with the AR-15, walking side by side with an officer, and the officer is thanking him. He didn't think to question his age. He didn't think to question if he was licensed to carry that firearm. And you hear people in the video saying he shot someone and he doesn't get detained. Like, we just automatically get the assumption that we're aggressive. So I know for myself, I'm a happy dude a lot of time, most of the time. But another reason why I do smile a lot is just to disarm people. Because I am dark skinned, I got a bald head, and I got a little brolic a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So, but I smile a lot just to disarm people so that I am happy. So, because easily people that don't look like me can kind of be nervous and tense if I walk around with an angry face. So it's tough, but that's the world we live in. That's how I choose right now to try to help the situation as much as I can.
What's your message to the Black athlete that you mentor?
Be educated. You're more than an athlete. Like that's why it's so important to have people that can advocate for you. So like I said earlier, going and speaking to people you want to get in business with or whatever industry that is, going and sitting in the AD's office, your professors, going asking about their lives, about their jobs, those things. When you have people that can vouch for your character, for your intelligence, for all those positive things outside of being an athlete, then you have people that will give you opportunities as opposed to you going out and searching for opportunities. And with that being said, is the Black athlete is you got to be educated about everything. Don't fall into that rat hole of, everybody got to take care of me because I can hoop, because I average 20 a game, or I'm ranked this and that. Like, you need to cater to me. No, like, as soon as you don't add value to that team or to that university, a lot of people push you to the wayside. So at the end of the day, when that ball stops bouncing for whatever athlete this is, what value do you bring to a company? What product or service can you provide to customers to make a living? Because they'll be excited for you when you dropping 20 a game, wherever that is, you know what I'm saying? Lead them to the tournament, Sweet 16, Elite 8. But as soon as you say, hey, I want to do this in business, or I want to invest in this, that, the third, they're going to ask for another set of skills that if you don't have, then I'm your fan, but I'm not going to get in business with you.
Right.
So be educated amongst many different cultures, many different topics, many different avenues of life. Be educated so you can make an informed decision and not let an agent or a financial advisor or your circle around you make decisions that you don't know about.
That's great stuff. That's great stuff indeed.
What is, what's coming, right? It's time for you to bless us, bless the universe with some of your wisdom. What's the best advice you would give to that freshman, that underclassman coming up behind you?
I'll say stay the course. Most importantly, believe in yourself. It all starts with confidence. You got to have confidence. That's what confidence builds character. So I feel like, you just have to be confident and just, believe in everything you do. Do it the right way. Don't cheat the system. Just, try your best in everything you do. That's all I tell you.
Well, you have definitely taken your own advice. I think that's excellent. Really. Really.
Absolutely. Wade, again, congratulations, man. Keep up the great work. Super proud of you, everything you've accomplished. We're looking forward to the next chapter being even greater. Again, keep doing it the right way, man. Just keep leading. And, a lot of times we watch you play, but there are so many unseen things that go on with you that a lot of people don't get a chance to see. So keep letting your light shine, young brother. Super proud of you. Coach Jarrett Howell, thank you so much, man, for blessing us with your presence today on the round table, brother. You guys made my day.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Thank you for having me, man.
Absolutely. Y'all guys got any closing remarks? We'll let you guys have the mic before we go.
Shout out, heads up, man.
You have been trained well, honey. I love it.
Heads up, East Bay. My wife, Vanessa. Got to shout out the wife. Wade, one more thing to you, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I heard Chauncey Billups said it like this. Never forget this. However, for life and basketball. Take care of the man to your left. Take care to the man to your right. And the person that benefits the most sits in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So always take that everywhere.
Gotcha.
Take that. But glad to be on the show. I'm glad to watch Mr. Taylor light it up this season and years to come. And I'm just glad y'all allowed me to come be on this nationwide, award-winning show.
We're just a small nonprofit trying to make a difference, man. We're trying to grow our organic platform.
The phone's ringing right now.
There it is, right there. There's the producer calling, right?
Oh my God, that's hysterical. Okay, so guys, thank you so much. I adore you, Wade. I wish you all the absolute best. We will be in touch again. And listen, keep striving for perfection and keep mastering virtual learning. I know it's tough, but I'm confident that y'all are going to be all right, and we're going to see y'all again soon at the gym. I look forward. I didn't see not one game this summer. Sorry, I can't do it. But I'm ready for the world to get back, to a better normalcy than what we were before. And I'm confident if the schools make the right decisions, we'll be all right. We will see you all soon. Thank you guys so much. And we'll see you again.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye.
Appreciate y'all.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Hey.
Okay. So another great one in the books. We're not done though. I hope you all stick around with us while we wrap up. Really glad to talk to Wade and Jarrett. That was great.
Absolutely. Great segment. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in, joining us at the round table. Jarrett Howell, as well as Wade Taylor.
The fourth.
Wade Taylor, the fourth. Great conversation with those guys.
Yeah.
As always. And again, looking forward to that next chapter in Wade's journey. Watching all the great things he's going to go on to do. Shout out to the Taylor family, too. Shout out to Weibo Nation, Lancaster High School, Coach Douglas and his crew.
Sorry, I know, I'm terrible.
But yeah, another great one in the books, Christy.
Indeed. Let's jump right to what's coming up. We have a huge, first of all, let's just say last week was great. We hosted a women's empowerment, economic empowerment roundtable. and had special guests on for that. That was a great show. We had a great time with that. And tomorrow we have the esteemed privilege to host or power a celebration. It's a celebration of the 100th anniversary of the signing of the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote. So it's been 100 years, from 1920 to 2020. And so every year there's been a celebration. And this whole week has been dedicated to that major accomplishment. We had a great conversation earlier with our commissioner, John Wiley Price, and he brought up something that I had been dying to say for so long. Well, I've been kind of talking about it behind the scenes, but you know, the suffrage movement, it had to continue for decades after the signing of the 19th Amendment, because it did not fully cover, it didn't cover Black women. Right. Black women still had to be part of the civil rights movement and have to, you know, my favorite thing is, which is ridiculous, had to guess the jelly beans in the jar, or had to, my grandmother had to pay a poll tax. Well, her father paid the poll tax for her. And so anyway, you know, all those stories will, you know, they're part of history, and I just encourage everybody to tell the whole story in history. So, but
tomorrow's
yes.
event is hosted by Dallas Women's Council.
Yes.
Dallas Women's Council. Special guest speaker will be Bishop Vasti McKenzie, world-renowned thought leader and educator and parishioner. We have Dr. Michael Sorrell, Paul Quinn College will be joining us. Judge Nancy Mulder, Dallas County Criminal Court number 4. Who else am I missing?
There's a host of others. State Senator Royce West. It's just going to be a great list of speakers that will address. We have some musical artists, spoken word. It's just going to be a great program. It starts at 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time. So y'all, you're following Heads Up anyway. So set your notifications to get this. Or go for. There's an event link actually on the Heads Up page. So go find it and share it with everybody. It should be really a grand experience as we commemorate that monumental milestone. Shout outs and thank yous. Who we shouting out this week?
We're shouting out the NBA.
We are
shouting out the NBA, all the players that are constantly using their platform to move the needle for social justice.
I got one.
All on the line.
Yeah.
And I want to commend you guys for that. And everybody that's who, and I'm also shouting out everybody that's registered to vote already. You know.
We gonna hold on. Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
Thank you guys for that. Those are my 2 shout outs.
And I just want to say thank you to Colin Kaepernick. To start that 4 years ago in 2016. And I mean, it was in the stars, and as tragic, I mean, it's always a tragedy of why we even have to be doing what we do and where we are. But yeah, so, and I'm sorry, Roger Goodell needs to do better at his apology. I don't think it was much of an apology, but he has acknowledged that they should have listened to Colin Kaepernick. Yeah, but that's 4 years ago. And so anyway, I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I do want to say a thank you to him, because he put it all on the line, and he, you know, lost that career. But he obviously is iconic at this point for a whole different reason, which sustains, it goes beyond, it supersedes everything else.
Absolutely. Iconic indeed.
Yeah.
Iconic.
Okay. Big reminders. Get registered to vote. Let me show y'all real quickly, because I've got it all here. So listen, have y'all seen these before? These are the register yourself to vote. I don't know if we can see yet because my screen is so wonky. I even have these. We've got these. If you get registered, we got stickers. Everybody loves stickers. Let me give y'all some dates. First of all, we are 68 days until the general election. coming up on November 3rd, 2020. It is probably the most crucial election of our time. So yes, we need to get out the vote. 68 days away, but the deadlines are less than that. So keep in mind, October 5th is your last day to register to vote. October 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th is your last day to register to vote. Friday, October 23rd, is your last day to request your mail-in ballot. Okay? October 23rd is the last day to request your mail-in ballot. Early voting starts October 13th through the 30th. This is imperative. This is, put it on your calendar, mark it in your smartphone, set your reminders. What else? I get you a rooster. Y'all need to remember, early voting is incredibly important. We need to know sooner than later where we are in the process of saving our world, basically. So October 5th, you have to be registered to vote by October 5th. October 23rd is your last day to request your mail-in ballot, and early voting begins October 13th through the 30th, and our big election day is November 3rd, and that is 68 days away. So do not forget that. I can't begin to tell you. In our last show, we talked about the reasons why you should vote and all the things we wouldn't have if nobody voted, if nobody even protested. I mean, these are policies, and these are, things that someone had to fight for. So
can you do us a favor? When we get off, would you post those reasons on your Facebook page, Christy, please?
Sure, I'll do my best.
Post those reasons, because I want everybody to, see that. Because,
okay.
Exercising your right to vote is a big deal, and that's the way we're going to get change. So that's a truly get change. We got to show up at the polls first and foremost. So please post that for us to kind of get educated on that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And my final thoughts, I just want to, first of all, send out lots and lots of good energy, of comfort and of protection for Louisiana and all of our Texas coastal states. They are currently experiencing a Category 4 hurricane. Hurricane Laura is about to rip the roof off in those areas. And, this week, sadly, marks the 15th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina that came through in 2005. It lasted from August 23rd to August 31st. It was a Category 5 that killed over 1,800 people. That's 1,800 people. That's over 1,800 people, and it had $125 billion of damage.
Wow.
Hurricane Laura is expected to go 40 miles inland, and it has already been called catastrophic. So we just send all of our thoughts and our prayers and our good energies down to everyone in that region.
South Texas, Louisiana, all those guys. It hit pretty good. Hopefully everybody's evacuated from that area, actually, because it's so bad. Hopefully not too many people are trying to ride it out. A lot of people will remember, recently, I think it was it Rita and something else that happened down there. They still got those memories fresh. So a lot of people chose to get on out of there, which is a good thing.
Yeah. Well, now Katrina is tied, with Hurricane Harvey. It literally met it neck and neck. So that was just a few years ago. And so here we are again in the season. It's hurricane season, but still, it's very hard to prepare fully for that. And there are a lot of people who cannot evacuate. They just can't. A lot of poor, families that cannot go anywhere. So again, we send them our love and our thoughts, and just, again, prayers of comfort and protection. So that's our show for tonight.
Fantastic. My dog is waiting at the back door, so I gotta go take
Go
it
out. Okay, well, listen,
Shout out
everybody that tuned in online, thank you all so very much. After the broadcast is done, please don't forget to go back and share this on every group. We're always excited to get the word out about the roundtable. And of course,
go post some words of encouragement for Wade Taylor in the comments. You know, great kid. You know, if you got some words of encouragement for him, please post them in the comments.
all right, so there are your marching orders, and everybody, please remember, we are in the middle, or we're just in a pandemic. Right now, there's not a lot of light at the end of the tunnel. So just don't forget that that's where we are. And we are staying safe. Remember, social distance, cover it up. All right, love y'all. I'm out, we done.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. Wear your mask. Stay safe.
Boom.